Hey everybody, Movie Reviewer next door here, and I'm back with another review. And there you go. Now it's greener. And I'm back with another review, and this time I saw Wanted Man. It's a 2024 action thriller film directed by Dolph Lundgren. Yes, directed by, and it stars Dolph Lundgren, Kelsey Grammer, Michael Pare, Roger Cross, and Christina Villa. In this film, The, this film follows a police officer who must retrieve an eyewitness and escort her after a cartel shooting leaves several DEA agents dead. But then he must decide who to trust when they discover that the attack was executed by American forces. So, what did I think of Wanted Man? Well, it was a massive disappointment. I'm not gonna say that it's like a bad movie, because I don't think it's bad, but it's just ma- a massive fucking disappointment given Dolph Lundgren is directing and acting in it. And usually when he directs, I'm like, this is at least going to be a watchable movie. And I guess it's watchable. I'd never watch it again though. But let me get to the cast. Dolph Lundgren plays Travis Johansson, a cop who is in a little bit of hot water because he roughed up a Mexican suspect and said some choice words. Dolph Lundgren can play these types of characters. The issue is he is 66. Now, why do I think it shows here more than it does with someone like Liam Neeson? From what I know, Liam Neeson doesn't have any big ailments that would be affecting his performance, even though I do think he's getting a bit up there too. Dolph Lundgren has cancer, and I am very sad to have to. It's sad to say that I think it is affecting his performance. And he's also not able to do as much, partially given his age and also partially because of the cancer. So my thought is maybe they should have cast this he should have cast somebody else with this, but then again he does direct his own movies a few times. But I'll get more into that. Kelsey Grammer plays Brenner, an old friend of Lundgren's. Um he's also a bit wasted. I saw his name second on the poster and I was expecting kind of a buddy type thing, and I didn't really get that. But I'll get to that. Also, this review is going to be spoiler because I have to talk about something regarding the ending and a twist that happens. Michael Pare plays Tonelli again, another wasted actor. I love Michael Pare so much. So it was a shame to see him wasted. Roger Cross plays Hernandez. He's basically the head of the cops, the detective agency or whatever that Dolph Lundgren works for. He's fine. And Christina Villa plays Rosa Barranco, who's the suspect that Dolph is trying to protect. She's fine. Um, this film, um, Dolph Lundgren has directed a few times. Uh, and he has another movie that he's directed coming out in the future called Malevolence. So hopefully that'll be better. But he's directed The Defender, Missionary Man. Some places say that he co-directed Diamond Dogs. It's kind of a thing that the person that's listed as the director like bowed out, and then Dolph Lundgren did most of the directing. I don't know if that's true, but listed on Letterboxd there's 8 movies. Malevolence, The Defender, Missionary Man, Icarus, The Mechanic, Wanted Man, Command Performance, and Castle Falls. Out of these, I have seen 4 of them. So I've seen half of his stuff. I've seen The Defender a couple times. I think it's fine. It's it's decent enough. Uh, Castle Falls, if if I were to re-review it, I'd give it a lower score than 9 out of 10 because it really doesn't deserve that. I was mostly saying that because it was nice to see a movie that wasn't like so overly convoluted. I'd probably give it a 7 or an 8. Command Performance is a fun Die Hard kind of at a rock concert type of thing, and this one is by far his weakest for me. I and it's sad to say because I do really like Dolph Lundgren's type of direction, and I like the fact that he's using mostly practical effects in this film. Now, there are a couple times where there's a noticeable CG effect or two, but at no point does it legitimately take me out of the movie. What takes me out of the movie is that it really does squander its subject matter, which is um, border policy, um, illegal immigration, which is something that you could make a very interesting movie about where you weigh the pros and cons of each side. Like, oh, this is the reason people cross over, and this is the reason people shouldn't. That whole thing. You could make something very thoughtful that still you'd have a bunch of idiots online calling you racist, even if you're saying, "Oh, you possibly think that there's an issue with illegal immigration. You're a racist." No, you're not. You're just weighing the pros and cons of everything, like a normal person. Not everything is perfect. Um, but this film really doesn't do anything with the. And again, it's kind of a. You might compare that to something like Skin Trade, where people were like, "Oh, it's a fun action movie, but it doesn't do anything with the human trafficking thing." And I'm like, Taken is a classic in your eyes, and it doesn't really do much with the human trafficking subject matter either. So I legitimately thought Skin Trade did more with human trafficking than Taken, because Taken it's literally just used as like kind of shock value in a way. And in Skin Trade, there's like legitimate talking about it. The whole strip club scene where you see the numbers on the women and the people just call the numbers on them in order to have sex with them. That's more than Taken ever did talking about human trafficking. And there's a bunch of people who say that this male gazy, oh, the director's a man, so he did that scene to have tits and ass in the movie. Men can also care about women. Do you forget? Also, women consistently sexualize men more than men sexualize women. I swear to God, in film at least, from what I've seen recently, it's fucking insane. But anyways, um, that you'd think like it's a similar situation to Skin Trade, but Skin Trade was a lot more fun, a lot more fast paced. This film is only 85 minutes, which I was like, okay, it'll be fast paced, so we'll get quite a bit of action. Not really. There's one big action scene, and it's not really that extravagant. Also, I know this is not a high budget movie. I am fully aware that it's not a high budget movie. This is put out by Millennium, who, just to remind people who this company is, they did The Hitman's Bodyguard, The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, The Expendables trilogy, The Olympus Has Fallen trilogy, Rambo, which is First Blood Part 4 technically, Rambo Last Blood, Bad Lieutenant Part of Call New Orleans, Till Death, uh, Before I Go to Sleep, The Mechanic 1 and 2, Drive Angry, Homefront. This company's done a shit ton of action films that are like very well respected or reviewed. 16 Blocks, The Protege, Jolt, which is a surprise for me. Like I was expecting more from this. Now again, I can give credit to Dolph for using blood squibs because CGI blood for the most part looks like shit, especially in lower budget movies where they can't afford a better looking a better CG artist, or the time constraints given to the CG artist don't give them enough time to make better looking blood squibs or blood splatters. But the issue with this film is that it's very hollow. Not much happens in it. It's kind of your typical wrong side of the law, there's people on your side attacking you type of thing, and throw in political commentary. I feel like this movie would be a bit more fun without the commentary because it's constantly banging you over the head like, oh, this main character's a racist, and then throughout the film he goes through transformation, that whole thing. And it felt really annoying to me. It felt insanely unneeded. Just a sec. I'm back. I had to do a quick edit because I heard something outside. Had to go check it, and it's actually green now. Um, the my guess on what happened with this movie is that there was initially supposed to be more action, and instead they were like, you know what, let's save money. Because I haven't seen a lot of bigger budget Millennium films coming out ever since Expendables 4, and Expendables 4 tanked fucking hard. I'm pretty sure. It got critically blasted and it looks like shit. So maybe that affected it somehow. But this film very clearly is not a high budget film, and that shouldn't matter because a lot of Dolph Lundgren, pretty much every Dolph Lundgren movie he's directed, has looked fine, like never super cheap. Even The Defender being his first, uh, didn't feel cheap. But something about this one, something feels off, and I feel like they added in the whole Mexico thing uh, to try to add, I guess, a bit more legitimacy to the film. And I think, if anything, it takes away from it because I have yet to see a movie make a both sides argument about the border crisis, but this one isn't it. It goes from far on one side to far on the other, and it just it feels hollow. There's not really much for me to say about this film. There's one good shootout. Pretty much every other action scene is very stale or something you've seen before. This felt almost exactly like another film from a director that I really like, Jesse V. Johnson. I'm sorry about my fucking voice. I don't know what's up with me. It feels like One Ranger with Thomas Jane, with Dominic Tipper, John Malkovich's AI ass. Um, but in that film, at least, was a bit more to the action scenes. Jesse B. Johnson knows how to do an action scene. Even in some of his lesser films, the action scenes are still fun. Here, most of the action scenes are very tired, very just hate to say this, but in kind of the same state as Dolph Lundgren seems to be in. And for a significant portion of the film, he's lying in a bed because he got shot. And when I heard about that, I was like, okay, it's going to be like 5 minutes or so. It's a good 10 minutes at least of the movie. And I'm like, really? Like, I get they're trying to be, I guess, realistic there, but it's just kind of a boring part of the movie that's just used for expository dialogue. And yeah, just there's really not much to say about this film. If you love Dolph Lundgren and want to see a movie he directed that's better, go watch Command Performance. Even watch Castle Falls. Even though it's not amazing, it's still fun. It still has the fun premise. Dolph Lundgren and Scott Adkins working together is a lot of fun. It sucks that they weren't able to shoot all the action scenes they wanted to because of COVID. I still hate that fucking excuse, but whatever. Go watch something other than this. This really isn't worth a lot of people's time. So, that was my review of Wanted Man. If you've seen the film, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you have any recommendations, put those down there as well. And Movie Reviewer Next Door, out.